Hi everyone. Now I got asked a question about flies or winter patterns, and I recently tied some lures, which were, they're good sort of winter style flies for small and large fisheries. Now when I worked in the trout fishery, there was quite a few flies worked over the winter, and the question I got asked was, is there any buzzer patterns that would work, or midge pupa or anything like that. Obviously the bloodworm was one of the top, so I've got that on YouTube. But there was buzzers or midge type patterns. I didn't fish them all. There was a couple I did fish here. There was a kind of bug. Now I'm going to tie, they're really quick to tie. Now one of the best sort of winter midge, if they would call it that, was the fly called the Okey Dokey. Now it was just the name given to the fly, Okey Dokey, that was him into another fish and into another fish, and it was like that, consistent. Now it was tied mainly white, with the thorax colour being different in colour. It was either an orange or a lime green or a chartreuse, but the body overall was the same. Now I used this is the Glow-Brite, this is the squash Davie, the Floss. This is number 16, which is the white. Now what I did was, obviously I tied the main body of the fly using the white floss, and then I finished off with the same floss, but I just changed the colour. This is number 11, is the chartreuse. Now what I'm going to do is catch in a wire rib. Just, you don't have to use the wire rib, but I like the wire rib. In this case it's silver, so you could, flying up here. Now you've got to build the body up. Now you could use other flosses, but the Gol-Brite is fluorescent. I really get that nice blue hue off it, so that's why I like to use it. So you just work your way all the way up, come back down. You did get through a lot of floss. Short of the back, you just start to build up the body. So lots of, I don't know how much you could get out of a spool, like, but it's any white type of floss does. It's 3/4 down the first time. Now I'm sort of 2/3 of the way down. And then I'm going to halfway, see what it's like. Now I'm actually going to go all the way down. Just slowly build it up and then come back up. So you get that nice taper. So what I'm going to do now is just, I'm going to finish off with the white. You could go thicker than that. I've seen them heavier than that at one time. They were really heavy, but they do sink really well. A couple of odd fibre there. I'm just going to remove these. So I've got the number 11, same Gol-Brite floss. So I'm going to form the thorax with this. I'll use my tweezers. And then change to number 11. Come down the thorax length. See about there, just a wee quick check, no, it's fine. And then we bring my rib up through, just on the body. Obviously catch it in with the floss. You can build it up. I'm going to go all the way to the head of or to the eye, bend and break away the wire, and then we just fill up the thorax area and whip finish. Don't have to whip finish right at the eye, you could whip finish onto the thorax. Trim this away. Basically that's the Okey Dokey. Now obviously with the new resins and so on, what I used to do is super glue and varnish build it up. But now with the resins we can actually do it quite quick. Now that's the first one I've tied in, gosh, could be 20 years since the last time I tied an Okey Dokey. Now, just going to put some on the top here. So this is just a Bug Bond light UV resin, which is obviously, it wasn't, you couldn't get their resins back then. It was, I say, you had to use well, I used a coat of super glue and then about 3 coats of varnish just to get a nice body. Just take my time here, it seems to be soaking it up, so I need a bit more. The good thing about the resins, you have plenty of time to get the shape that you like. By putting the resins on, obviously it allows it to sink really quick. Now you want the resin just onto the back of the hook, just to seal the end. Obviously rotate my vise here just to evenly spread out the resin. I'll get my torch ready. So here we are, because it will run a wee bit. I say just get the shape that you like, and then we set the resin, just allow it to set. And now once you do the resin, then when I do like a resin light body, I like to coat it with varnish. Stops it going kind of like tacky, takes the tackiness away from the UV resin. So that's the Okey Dokey. Okay, for the next one, I'm going to be using this hook. This is a competition heavyweight and black nickel, size 12. Now you could tie this any size, well any size, 10s, 12, 14s was the main 3 sizes that I would use. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I've actually got, now just the Okey Dokey, just to remind you, the white, you could use UTC in 140 as well, which I did use, I just remembered. So you could, if you didn't have the floss, you could use a UTC, a lot more than a spool, so it didn't hurt so much. But anyway, I'm going to use the 140, which is a heavier thread. Just going to tie this on, just about, maybe around about a third of the shank. Oops. Make sure it's secure. Just going to come back up, so there's at least something to tie on. Now I'm just using a red wire. This is a UTC wire in red. And catch this on the way down. Now if you spin anti-clockwise, you'll flatten the UTC thread. Just going to come back a wee bit here. So I'm going to wind down with the wire. You want to obviously touch and turns. When obviously you're adding, this is when you're targeting fish, even these, you can get these to drop quite quick, and especially in the winter months. You want to be able to get them down a bit. Now as you go down, then you just work your way back up. You can rub the body with the wire, and then you just catch it in at the top, the thread. Then you wind right up to the eye. You can bend and break away the wire, and then just build up the thorax. Just really quick. As one of my main jobs, as I said in one of the videos before, was to keep obviously the fly boxes full, and these were really quick, very effective patterns. And there we are. So always thinking of building up the body. From that way. And again, like I did with when I originally tied like the Okey Dokey and this, I would super glue and then varnish it. But we use the resins now, so I'm going to put the resin on. Just it's a Bug Bond, as I say. I've used the Bug Bond for the start, as I need it. So just as much quicker nowadays using the resins than like as I say, I did super glue first, and then I did 2 to 3 coats of varnish, which was the slowest bit of making these flies. But with the resins now, it's a coat of resin, and then I always like to say there's a coat of varnish on it. I always like to re-drop onto the bend of the hook just at the back. I say that just stops any water penetrating underneath. I've actually got a wee drop in the eye, so I'm just going to clean it out. So just have a wee hanky ready, and just to make sure that's clear before you set it, because it's a bit of a chore to actually get it out when it's dry, when it's set. Obviously get your torch, just check it's where you want it, you can set. I remember trying this for the first time, I put the red on so I could basically see it in the clear water. I could actually see it, and it worked extremely well, just one fish after the other. So just make sure the resin's set. You want it to obviously stick to the thread and the wire. And a thin coat of varnish finishes it off. All the way around. The varnish shrinks a wee bit, it looks like it's filled it all up, but once the varnish sort of dries, it tightens up. That's the red version anyway, so it's the one I did. Make sure the eye's clean, the varnish now. Okay, now the final one is this one here. This and the red one was the main, so the two I would use normally. I did fish the Okey Dokey at times, but just a very odd time. And I did catch with it, but I preferred to fish this one and the red midge, just off the side, along the banking, even into deep water obviously with them being heavy. But I actually tied this one with silver wire, so I put my wire, this is a small silver wire, onto a spool, and then I just started at the eye. The waist piece I keep as my rib, so don't take it off. So we quickly run down. It's a simple fly. This adds obviously a lot of weight to the hook anyway. And then get like a natural fur. In this case I'm using Hare's mask. So this is the mask. I've stripped the fur off it and then blended it. And then you just onto your thread like you would do or into your wire in this case, but onto your thread like you would do your dubbing. Just dub it on, and don't be shy with it. I liked it quite plenty on. Now to make it last, what I did was I put some varnish or super glue, in this case it's super glue, onto the hook, and then we wind up. Maybe a bit too much on there, but just be careful when you touch it. You'll be fine, the dubbing will soak it up. Just work your way up the length of the body, check it, that's fine. Now rub the body with the wire. And then what I did was I just built up the thorax with the actual wire itself. So I'm just going to fold back the waist end as I go. This will help thicken it. You could use a heavier wire for this for a bit quicker, but this is what I used. Just going to break away the waist now. As I said, just build it up for the weight. This was the weight of the nymph, and then just whip finish. Oops. And bend and break away the wire. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rough up the body. Times the rougher the body the better at times. So they actually won a competition with this fly. Nobody was catching, and so what I did was, I wasn't catching either. I decided to fish very close to the bank, and I put this on, and I actually got my limit and won the competition. So on this fly. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to just do the thorax area. And again, when I originally tied this fly, I would use a super glue and a varnish, but I'm going to put a light coat of resin on it, all the way around. Obviously set it. And again, what I'll do is I'll coat it with a clear varnish. All the way around. Just taking the extra long fibres away. All the way around. Once that's set, as I say, like I did with other flies, a light coat of varnish just to seal it. Now when I was using the super glue, it was a super glue and then 2 to 3 coats of varnish. And that was it. There we go. That's it. So what I've got is the Okey Dokey. Just get it here. Just put on a wee piece of foam so you can see them all together. And then we've got this one. Now I used to fish the red one mainly, and this one. So I'd put this in the point, and this in the dropper. Then I would tweak them in just on a floating line, quite a long cast. But I'd work the cast depending on the depth of water I was fishing in, depending so. But I'd have these about 5 foot apart. I wouldn't have them too far apart. As I say, this one in the dropper, that in the point. And I would then, the Okey Dokey, if I did fish the Okey Dokey, it would be, I did fish, sometimes I fished 2 of these, one with the orange and one with the either Chartreuse or lime green, just to see what they preferred, and that's what we did. But as I say, it's a team, so you could put the Okey Dokey in the point or the dropper, no matter where it went. You could do the same with these, you could put them where you like. But a good set of old sort of winter bugs, if you want to call it. It's for the small fisheries, and that basically was the question, was what would you use from bug-like or nymphs or pupa in the winter months. So these were the most popular, but these are the 2 I would probably fish, this one and that one. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and again, thanks for watching.